To Father Marc's Kitchen here, where we will be baking an apple pie today on today's show. And since this is the first time I'll be doing this video like this, I thought maybe we should go over some rules of the road for Father Marc's Kitchen. Whenever I'm cooking, whatever it might be, I always have 3 rules I like to follow. First, you must have no fear. There can be no fear in Father Marc's Kitchen. Don't be afraid to try different things. Don't be afraid to throw a little extra dash of this or that in there. It usually turns out for the better, and if it doesn't, well, just throw it away and try again. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2, you must have beer while you are cooking. You gotta put some fuel in the tank, boys and girls. So through here, my tried and true Yingling, supporting the Pennsylvania economy in Pottsville. Great tour, by the way, if you've ever had a chance to go to Pottsville. Encourage you to tour the Yingling Brewery. Great tour, but you gotta put some gas in the tank. So we're gonna start right now. All right, now rule number 3, we're actually going to break today because you also have to have tunes. Can't cook without tunes, but because any music I would be listening to is copyrighted and we're posting this video on the internet, that would be a no-no. Our video would be taken down. So I'm not going to have any music playing while I'm cooking here. It'll all be just playing in my head. Have your favorite song playing in your head while we go through this together and bake this pie. But having laid down the ground rules, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we have our ingredients. What we're going to do first is we're going to start with the crust. So we got all our ingredients just like you see on a cooking show, right? You always have to have all of your ingredients ready to go when you sit down, or I guess I'm not sitting down, I'm standing to do your pie. So I've got all the ingredients I need right here. And by the way, the recipe we are using is from the internet. Great resource I have found to find recipes. And you can just basically Google whatever it is you're trying to cook, and it will come up with all kinds of different recipes for that. And this one is from the site beeryeti.com because I always cook with beer. It's a secret ingredient in everything I cook. Well, not everything, but a lot of things I cook. So we're cooking this recipe from Beer Yeti on apple pie. Got this off the internet. So we're going to start here. We need 2.5 cups of flour. So we're going to dig in here and get our 2.5 cups of flour. We're going to put them in this bowl, and before anyone comments on, Father, that's not a mixing bowl, I know that, but it's what I have because I don't have a mixing bowl, so we're going to use it. So that's 1. That is 2 cups of flour. We're just going to eyeball the 1/2 cup because I'm not going to bother dirtying another measuring cup here. We're just going to eyeball maybe 1/2 cup here. And that's about right. Okay. So we got our flour in there. Put that away. Now we need a tablespoon of sugar. So we got our sugar here. We got our tablespoon. Put in our tablespoon of sugar. Here we go. We need a teaspoon of salt. Get a little salt going here, a little salt action to counter that sugar. Get a teaspoon of that in there. Okay. And you have to make sound effects too, right? I mean, Emerald's always pow, right? So I'm like boop, or I'm like pow. So that's, but those are very exciting ingredients. So we got a little bit, a little milder with the boop. There we go. Okay. So we're mixing the flour, the sugar, the salt. It's in there. We're going to mix that with a fork, get it all nice and mixed up here. As per the recipe. By the way, as I'm mixing this, some of you might notice this really styling apron I've got on. which, no, I did not buy it specifically for this video. I would encourage you to buy one of our t-shirts from our parish in conjunction with this video. The We're in This Together t-shirts as part of our summer raffle. I always want to say festival. It's not a festival, it's a raffle. But no, this was a gift to me from a previous assignment because I would often help in the kitchen at parish dinners and whatnot. So, okay, so that's, whoops. You know, that's another thing you got to remember. With the rule number 1 in Father Marc's kitchen is no fear. Don't be afraid to make a mess. And I always try to do my best to clean it up because I don't want anyone else to have to do it. So, but I always do tend to make a mess in the kitchen. Okay. So we've mixed together the flour, the sugar, the salt with a fork. Now we have to mix in, how much butter? Let's see. 1 cup of butter, which butter, if you read the little conversion chart on your bars of butter here, you'll see that a half a cup equals 1 stick basically. And we need 1 cup. So we're going to need 2 sticks of butter. And rather than just chucking these in there and trying to mix them up, what I am going to do is I'm going to pop these puppies in the microwave for a little bit to try to soften them up and melt them down a little bit. And then they'll mix, hopefully they will mix a little easier in the mixture I've already got there. So we're just going to pop these puppies right in the microwave here for, oh, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so, see how that turns out. And while we're doing that, I will then be clearing some of this stuff we don't need anymore away to make room for what comes next. So just pop that in there, about 30 seconds to start. Take the little gas in the tank. That's good. Get rid of my sugar, don't need that. Do I need that again later? No, it doesn't look like I need that later. Okay. Get rid of the flour, don't need that anymore. So that's clearing both of these out of the way. Don't really need this right now either, the brown sugar. That comes later when we're making the filling, so I'll just move that out of the way too for now. Same with the salt, don't need that out here anymore. There's flour, there's some more flour, I didn't need that. Put that away. Okay. We will need that. Some water there. I think I'm done with these right now, so we'll put them there like that. See how our butter looks here? That's pretty good. I might throw it in there for a little bit longer. Just like maybe another 15 seconds. Gives me time for another bit of gas in the tank. A little, hey, how you do? And maybe just mix this up a little more while we're waiting. So what song is playing in your head right now? Got an old 80s synth rock song stuck in my head the past couple days. Bring On the Dancing Horses by Echo and the Bunnymen. Can't get it out of my head, so it's been running non-stop while I've been working on this. Ooh, yeah, that looks really good. So that butter is ready to go. So, we've mixed the dry ingredients together. Now we have to mix in the butter and half of the water. This is our water here. It says 6 tablespoons of water, which is interesting. I've never heard you measure water in tablespoons. But that's what they got you doing in this recipe. So, here's my 6 tablespoons of water. I'm going to mix in this butter. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, that's good. That's perfect, actually. That is perfect. Ooh, okay. That butter, maybe even run a little water in there so it doesn't get all. You know, when you leave butter, melted butter sitting, it gets all gunky and gross when it dries. Just run some hot water in there before that happens. Okay. And then we'll just add about half the water. Okay, now we're ready to mix it up. I guess you're still supposed to use the fork to do this. Doesn't say you weren't. So I'm still using a fork here to mix this up to get our pie crust going here. Maybe I'll switch to a spoon here because it's getting hard to mix with a fork. It's really getting hard to mix with a fork. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to switch to a spoon because this is getting really hard to mix with a fork. So, and I think I will need to add more water to that because it's pretty dry. I'm going to leave the fork here though, just in case I plan to switch back. Get out a spoon here and work on that. Here we go. Add some more water in there. No fear, right? No fear. Just throw some more water in there, see what happens. There we go. You want to get all the ingredients mixed in there, right? You don't want to leave any of that stuff on the side there. Get it nice and mixed up here. It says to do this until moist clumps form. So I'm not exactly sure what a moist clump is. I'm sure that's some technical cooking term. But I am not Rachel Ray or Emerald. I do not know exactly what they mean by a moist clump. And so I'm not sure. I mean, this is kind of clumpy. It's kind of the consistency of Play-Doh right now. So I'm going to add a little more water because they're not very moist. They're clumpy, but they're not very moist. These clumps are not very moist. So I'm going to keep hacking away at this. I might need to get a bigger spoon. I think I'm getting a bigger spoon. This one is not getting the job done. Okay, we're bringing out the big guns. Right here, buddy. No more messing around. We are bringing out the big guns. We are hacking that up. We're mixing it up. We're going to put more water in there because guess what? Not very moist, and it's supposed to be moist clumps. So I'm putting some more water in there. I'm just dumping the whole thing. Boom, right there. No fear. No fear. Just dumping the whole darn thing right in. All 6 tablespoons of water. Oh, now it's looking moist. See? Now it's really looking moist here. Okay. That is what we're going for, I think. That is what we are going for, boys and girls. Moist clumps. Okay. I would say that is moist, clumpy. I'm going to show you guys at home, if I can, exactly what I'm looking at here. So maybe you can comment, at the bottom of the video there, if you consider this to be moist clumps. I don't know. So here we go. Does that look like moist clumps to you? Don't know. But I'm going to call it moist clumps because my arm's getting tired. Oops. See, this is probably one of the reasons why I don't bake pies is because A, it's really a lot of work, but B, because you get your hands all gunky. I don't like gunky hands. All right, so we're ready. We're ready for the next step here. So now what we want to do, oops, got a little on my foot there. We want to divide the dough in half, flatten each part, and cover and refrigerate it for an hour. So I got to figure out how to do this. I think I'll get some saran wrap here. Or wax paper, that'd be good too. We'll just use some wax paper maybe and some paper plates. get that puppy going here. Take another little shot here. Gotta sneak those in, you know. So we're gonna put some wax paper down on both of these. And then I think we'll just cover them with wax paper. Maybe put them in the refrigerator. I don't need these out. I was gonna put these away. I thought I might need those, but I don't. Because we want to be prepared. Okay, so for right now, what we're going to do, I'm going to divide this in half. It's about half. I'm going to plop that down right there. Same thing with that. Actually, it might be a little more than half of that, a little less than half. You might want to steal just a little spoonful of that to add to that, okay? And I just put my stuff on top of my recipe, so I got to pull the recipe out here. All right, so divide it in half, flatten each part, cover and refrigerate for 1 hour, okay? So I'm just gonna kind of roll that out, I guess, flatten it out. Doesn't say how flat. You know, how flat does it need to be? I don't know. I'm just going to let it go like that. Same thing with this one. Just kind of squish it down. Right, these are the 2 halves of the crust you're going to have to roll out later. So those look pretty flat. So what I'm going to do, put that in there, is cover each of these with another sheet of wax paper. And then put each of these in the refrigerator. Okay, so we are back after our hour, waiting for the dough, I guess, to cool off. Whatever reason I had to wait for an hour, I don't know. But that's what the recipe said, so that's what we did. And now we're going to roll out our 2 halves of our dough here with our trusty rolling pin and our rolling cloth, this nifty rolling cloth that is supposed to help keep the dough from sticking to the rolling pin. So one of these we have to roll out to be 13 inches. The other one we have to roll out to, I believe, 10 inches. Let me double check that. Oh, 11 inches. And we've got our trusty rolling mat here to measure that out for us. So we're just going to go ahead and start rolling this out. The trusty rolling mat doesn't stick very well to the counter here. So this could be an interesting exercise here. But we'll get her done. So we're going to roll this one out to, at least try to roll this one out to 13 inches. This part, this will be the base of the crust. As you can see, I got way too many coffee mugs sitting around here. I'm going to maybe try one-handed here, different technique here. See if we can't get this done here. If we can't get this rolled out today, this is not working. So we're only out to about 10 inches right now. We got to get this rolled out set to 13 inches somehow. So I don't know if you know any secrets or tips on how to keep your mat from sliding around on the countertop. Feel free to put them in the comments below. Because this is really annoying right now. So gotta roll this out. You know what? I think what I mean, you can gotta get the idea what's happening here. So I think I'm just gonna pause the video now and finish rolling these out so you don't have to watch my entire struggle and ordeal as I deal with this. So I will be back as soon as I'm finished rolling out the dough. Okay, so after that ordeal, which only took me about 16 minutes to roll the pie crust out, and nothing to look at, but it'll get the job done, I hope. But now we're ready for the good stuff. Now we're ready to get the pie filling ready. And I know you can't see the stove there, but the stove is right here to my left. And the first part we're going to do with this is we have to reduce the beer we're using in the filling recipe. And the recipe calls for ale, which is a great, I like a lot of different kinds of beer, but ale certainly is good. We are working today with Fat Tire, which is New Belgium's Amber Ale, one of my personal favorites. So that's what we're going to be using today. I would have used more local brew, perhaps Railbender or something from Erie Brewing, but I did not feel like running all the way over Erie Brewing to get some beer, so I just went to the gas station. I was going by there anyways, and this is what they had. So we're going with Fat Tire, which of course is still pretty good. And this is my magic beer bottle opener, my Raiders magic beer bottle opener. I cannot divulge the secrets of how I just opened that bottle of beer, but it works every time. So what we're going to do with this, we're just going to put this here in the pot on the stove, get that boiling. Now, the recipe calls to reduce it to half a cup, which I have no idea how much half a cup looks like sitting in a pot. So what I am going to do is instead, I'm going to get this out of here, get my measuring cup out here real quick. I forgot to do that. It's okay. And so we will, what I'll do is just bring this to a boil. Let it simmer for a couple minutes until it looks like it's going down a little bit. And then I got to fill this up to the half cup mark, which is right there. Okay, so not too much. While that's doing that, we're going to get some of the other ingredients together here and get them together with our apples. Now I peeled and diced these apples off camera during the break while we were waiting for that hour for the pie crust to cool, which again, I don't know why we needed to do that, but okay. So anyway, so here we have our apples. We're going to put some of these other ingredients in there. So it calls for 2.5 pounds of these puppies. So I got just over 2 pounds of them from the grocery store. These are, what do they call them? Granny something or others, whatever. Oh, Granny Smiths, that's it. That's what I got. Got the bottle of ale, got it on the stove, waiting for that to boil. Got to keep an eye on that because it's carbonated, so it could boil pretty quick and we don't want it to boil over. Then I need 3 tablespoons of flour. We did need our flour back. Suppose that's just to give it some body maybe. I'm not quite sure why you put flour in the filler, but you do. So 3 tablespoons of flour calls for. So there's 1. There's 2. And there is 3. Okay. Flour over there. Take a little shot flour over there. Okay. Then you need half a cup of brown sugar. So we've got our half cup here. See that our beer is already starting to boil. Get our brown sugar going here and fill up that half cup. Probably better to do it that way. Ooh, yeah. Don't worry about, getting too much brown sugar going there because it's just going to make it tastier, right? The more brown sugar, the tastier it's going to be. So there's my half a cup of brown sugar. Like I said, no fear. Father Marc's Kitchen, no fear. I'm going to give another little shot of brown sugar in there just for kicks, just because I want to. So in you go, another tablespoon of brown sugar. I ain't scared. Okay, so then I want a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh, okay, got out the wrong size measuring spoon here with that. This is not supposed to turn the heat down to simmer, but it's not simmering. So I turn the heat back up, get that cooking again. Okay, so I gotta find my half teaspoon here. There it is. There it is. Okay. So we gotta get a half teaspoon of cinnamon here. There we go. That I am gonna probably not do a ton of cinnamon. I'm not a huge cinnamon fan. I mean, I like it, but you don't want to overdo it on the cinnamon. There we go. That's better. I will tell you right now, there is little in this world that smells better than cooking beer. When I cook with beer, whether I'm cooking a meat dish or whatever, once you expose it to heat, it just fills the whole house with that delicious sweet beer smell. So I love cooking with beer, and that's one of the reasons. Okay, it's simmering now. That's good. And then they want us to add salt, which is interesting. They want a quarter. I gotta get the quarter teaspoon out, maybe, of salt, which is interesting. So that's my quarter teaspoon there of salt here. There we go. Bring that around. Okay. Should be done with that stuff, I believe. So that's all good. Now we just gotta wait for the beer. Gotta wait for the beer to be reduced. Looks like there's still a lot more in there than what we're waiting for, so we'll give it another minute on that. Then we will bring that over. While we're waiting, we'll do a little cleaning here. Just to say that I'm simply taking the dirty dishes from this part of the kitchen and putting them in the sink. So they'll be cleaned later, but for now, just get them out of our way here. Getting the stuff we don't need out here anymore out of the way. Okay. Turn that up some more, get that going. Where did I put my rubber band? I lost it, so I'll have to find another again. There's one. I'll put it on the flower. Okay, good. Okay. It's looking pretty good there. Yeah, there you go. Now she's cooking. We'll have to get a nice big spoon out for stirring this up before we put it in the pie. Try and get that out of the way because we don't want that. If we spill the beer, which is a good possibility, we don't want it getting on the recipe. Just give that another minute or two here. Now, I don't understand all the science behind cooking, so I think you're probably the reason you're reducing the beer is you're trying to squeeze a lot of the sweetness of it into a smaller amount to give it more, sweet kick, I guess. I don't know. Because ales do tend to be rather on the sweeter side rather than the more bitter or hoppy side. We still get a lot more than half a cup in there, I think, but let's take a look. Let's see. Oh, I can't read it. It's too all fogged up. Plus it's on the wrong side, so it helps to have it on the right side with the right unit of measurement. So that's a half a cup. Oh, that's pretty close. That's pretty darn close. There we go. All right, not bad. I'm gonna keep this. I'm not gonna dump this out because if it doesn't look like it's moist enough, I'm gonna keep this because if it doesn't look moist enough when I mix it all up, you know, I can always dump more in. Okay, no fear. Just give it another shot of beer. It won't hurt it. Make it a little soupy maybe, but it'll cook out. So I'm gonna dump this in. My half a cup of beer here. Ooh, that smells really good. I wish there was some way you could smell through the camera because this smells great right now. The blending of all these flavors just smells fantastic. Just mixing this all up here. Get that. Oh, it's making me hungry and I already ate dinner. This is gonna smell even better, I bet, when it's cooking in the oven. Oh man. This is gonna smell so good. I don't think we're gonna need any more of that beer. I think we got plenty of beer here. Yeah, this is fine. That don't get it all scooped up, you know. I wonder with this, instead of stirring it in a bowl, if I put this in like a big, you know, maybe 2-gallon freezer bag or something, and just shook it up like shake and bake or something. That would be an easier way to do this. So you can make a comment about that in the comments if that's an easier way to mix all this stuff up. Especially after my arms are all tired from making that dough and rolling that dough. Well, I tell you, that was a workout. Again, another reason why I don't often bake pies. Just a lot of work goes into this. So my hat is off to all of the pie bakers out there. I give you all the credit in the world. This is hard work making a pie. Baking a pie, because I always made pies for the festival. But by making a pie meant that I would buy a prepared graham cracker crust, put in a can of pie filling that you buy in the store, and then top it all off with a bunch of gooping spoonfuls of whipped cream. Voila, I just made a pie in 5 minutes. But this has been a lot of work. So, and it's not done yet, because the most difficult part for me now comes up where I have to get the top crust onto the pie. And that always is the most difficult part for me. Well, when I say always, because I've only ever done it once before, and that was really the most difficult part to do in the whole process. So I'm going to give it a shot, but this looks like it's pretty good and mixed up here, so I'm going to go ahead here, put this where you can see it. This is the base pie crust already in the pie. Oh, by the way, I should have turned my oven on to preheat it here. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and get my oven going here. I'm going to preheat, turn that up. It says 425. Do that, preheat the oven to 425. Now we're ready. Make sure this is pressed nice and firm in there. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put our pie filling in the pie here, our apples and all the good stuff we got with them. Not sure if I'll put all these in because it's going to be a tight fit. I might say just I'm going to eat some of these, you know. Save myself a bowl of these, have it for dessert later tonight. Though I know that Granny Smiths aren't exactly supposed to be good eating type of apples. They're supposed to be good baking apples. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will just put them all in here. Take my chances. No fear. No fear. I'm just putting them all right in there. There, here we go. No fear. Boom, boom. Just like that. Look at that. That's a lot of apples. So you bite into this pie, you're going to get some apples, son. All right. So here we go. The real test. Oh, there's my rubber band. Okay, I found it. But I'm going to need some courage for this one. All right. Lord Jesus, help me. Here we go. I don't know, who is the patron saint of bakers? I don't know that one. I probably should have looked that up and made a novena to that person. Okay. So here we go. Trying to get it even on there. Kind of looks even, I guess. Not too bad, I guess. And we're going to peel that off. Peel that off. Oh no, oh no. Got problems already. Problems already. Oh, there you go. That actually was not as bad as it was in the past. It's not exactly even, but I'm going to do the little crimping thing, right? You got to do the crimping thing, I think, where you just roll up the sides. It's going to be a little thick on this side and a little thin on the other side. But as long as it keeps all the goodies in the pie, that's right, that's the point of this, right? Of the crimping part, to keep the goodies in the pie. So that's what I'm hoping here is going to happen, and it doesn't spill out while it's cooking. Again, not all that pretty. I'm not the cake boss here, but it's going to get the job done. And then I think I'm going to cover it with some melted butter to get a nice crisp crust, right? That's what you're supposed to do to get a crisp crust. So I'm going to just melt some butter in a cup here, and going to get a little brush thing and just brush it on there. And that then will, you don't need a ton of butter here. Probably just a tablespoon will be enough. Just boop, 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 boop. Oops, got paper in there. You don't want paper on your pie. Okay. We will now just pop this in here and melt it. Just gonna put it in there for about 20 seconds. Might be, whoa, what's going on with that? I don't know what was going on there, man. I was doing something crazy. I don't know what was going on. Get my handy dandy brush, first. What is going on? Whoa! That butter is going crazy in there, man. What is going on? Holy smokes. That butter just went insane in the microwave and started spraying everywhere. I gotta wipe this up before it gets hard. Oh my goodness. Yes, I know. Oh, it's even on the top of the microwave. Oh boy. Okay. I know. I should have covered it. I didn't think it was going to melt that fast. And I certainly didn't expect it to explode in the microwave, but it did. So we'll just mix it up a little bit here. It served a purpose, just made a little mess, that's all. But don't be afraid, right? Don't be afraid to make a mess in the kitchen. It's gonna happen. One way or another. When I'm cooking, there's gonna be a mess. Just accept it. You can't escape it. But again, accomplish the mission. Got us some melted butter here to brush on our pie crust. And I'm spraying this butter everywhere out here, all over the countertop and everything. But again, that's okay. When I cook, I cook hard, man. I cook hard. I make a mess. There we go. I tell you, this pie actually doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's not done yet. Obviously, I gotta throw it in the oven here. But it actually, it looks like a pie. It actually looks like a real pie that somebody that knows what they're doing might make. Because that person wouldn't be me. But I'm just gonna really layer this butter on here. I think that's really gonna help this crust. Okay. All right, good. That is just really good. Okay. And I heard the little dinger go off in the oven. I didn't want to do that. So now here's what we got to do. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. We got to bake it. Okay. We're going to cut a steam vent in it. I didn't cut a steam vent in it here. So I guess we got to get a knife out. And, I don't know. How do you cut a steam vent? You just like cut. I guess I'm just going to put a cut right through the middle here. Right through the middle of the top crust here. I guess. Maybe like an X shape. Sign of the cross here. I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I did something there. Little X in the middle. Okay. All right. Okay. Do bake pie for 20 minutes at 400, and then we're gonna reduce the temperature to 375 and bake for another 40 minutes after that. So about an hour total is what we're doing here. About an hour total we're gonna bake this pie. Okay, so 20 minutes at 400, then we're turning it down to 375 for another 40. So I'm gonna pop this in the oven, and we will come back one more time for the stunning conclusion of Father Marc's second only ever baked pie in his life. Okay, here we go. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so welcome back to everybody who's been watching the video all along. I actually did bake the pie, which you can see right here is the pie. So it does look like a pie. Mm. And it smells like a pie, but does it taste like a pie? That's the real challenge. Now I baked the pie on Sunday night, and this is now Tuesday morning, and we're gonna pan over here and show you who our expert panel of pie tasters will be. So we're gonna let them just dig in, have some of that pie, and then we're gonna get their feedback after they're done. So come back in a few and we'll check it out. Thanks.
Mouthful. Mmm. Delicious. The perfect amount of cinnamon and tartness. Yum, yum, yum.
Mm-hmm.
It was excellent. The pie crust was nice and soft and flaky and very good. Loved it.
Excellent.
Thumbs up.
Doesn't get any better than this.
So you've heard it from the critics. I don't know how honest they were all being since I was here while they were eating it, but apparently it tastes like a pie too. So that was a real fun experience. I was glad to do it, but of course remember why I was doing it was to help promote our upcoming summer raffle, which is August 9th. So if you haven't gotten your tickets in yet, please do so. You can get your nice, snazzy St. Boniface Wearing This Together t-shirt. You can still order those, so please get that ordered. You can also get them the day of the festival. The day of the festival, we will have the baskets and the prizes on display in the Coleman Center. You can come from 10 to 1 to check those out, buy more tickets, drop off your tickets, get the t-shirts, and help support our summer raffle. So thanks again. Keep cooking, I guess, and remember my motto, no fear. Thank you.